Okay, so for Science 10 here, guys, we're going to be going through all the kind of rules, expectations, etc. We'll tell you what's going to be in the course, around when we'll get everything done, okay? And we'll take any questions from you guys at that point. Okay, so first off, the most important thing you can do to be successful in Science 10 is to be here. Okay? If you're not here, obviously it's much more difficult. Now, each day I record what I teach. Okay? And most likely I'll be recording this class, period 1, okay? Because I like to be able to record in the morning and have stuff posted by lunch. Now, if I screw up or forget to record, or I forget to pause, or say something awful, or I probably wouldn't do that, but whatever. For whatever reason I can't use the recording, then I'll record again in period 4. But for the most part, I'll be recording this class, okay? And that recording will be posted in Google Classroom each day. So, if you can't be here, you have to use Google Classroom to stay caught up, okay? You will go to Google Classroom and you will watch the recording of the class from there and do whatever it is we did, okay? You'll be able to get everything you need from Google Classroom. All right, so if you do end up having to isolate, being stuck at home, whatever, okay, that's how you will stay caught up. It's not ideal, it's not the same as being here, but it is the next best thing, okay? All right, so if you are not here, you are still responsible for everything you miss, okay? If we do a lab on a day when you're not here, you're still responsible for that lab report, okay? Every single lab I have recorded during COVID, all the observations, everything. There'll be a video for it, okay? So if you missed the lab, you can watch the observations video. You can still get the lab report done even if you're not here, okay? So the expectation is that if you miss, that does not exempt you from something. Okay? It is still going to be due for you, same in time it is due for everyone else. Okay, 1.2 here. Please be on time. It's really annoying and disruptive if you are late. Okay, this class begins at 8:35. Be here before then. Okay, if you are not here by the beginning of class when the bell goes, you will find the door in the closed position. Do not open it. Do not knock on it. Do not create a disruption. Just stand out there. I'll come get you when it's not disruptive to everybody else. Now, if you've been out there for like 10 minutes, I probably didn't notice you. Then you can knock. Okay? Most of the time, it's just a matter of me not wanting to interrupt what I'm doing, okay, to let you in. Okay? Be on time, you won't have to worry about it. Okay, the resources that are available to you. Obviously, the first and most important one will be Google Classroom. So, yeah, it's me. Okay, so for you guys, that's Science 10, period 1. Okay, and in there I've already posted, okay, the welcome message and posted assignments and stuff. They're actually not assignments, it's just the only way I can make them so that you get your own stuff. If you go into the class work tab, okay, you'll see the course materials are here. There's worksheet packages. They are organized by unit. So there's a worksheet package for chemistry, there's a worksheet package for physics, and there's a worksheet package for global systems. There isn't one for biology simply because of the nature of that, okay, but there's one for each of those. And then there's notes packages, also organized by unit, as well as a few other things that you might need. Okay, and there's actually going to be a couple of other files that will show up here in your work. Those are your notes packages. They are yours. Okay, they're an individual file with your name on it. You can edit it, do whatever you want to it. Okay, but those are your notes. We don't have a textbook. Well, there is a textbook, but it's crap, so we don't use it. Okay, so your notes package, this stuff right here, is what you need for this course. You got some options here. If you are a pen and paper person, that's great. You'll need to print those then. Okay, don't print them in color, or you'll be going out and getting a new cartridge and having one of those Shaquille O'Neal cartridge conniptions. I don't know if you've seen that new ad, but it's pretty funny. Okay, you don't want to have to do that. Print it in black and white. You can always look at the electronic version if color is important. Okay, what most people do, and I'm totally okay with this, is they just download these to their phone. Okay, just put them in your Google Drive and make them available so they're offline. So if the the Wi-Fi goes down, you can still access it. And they just edit it in Google Docs on their phone. as I'm going along. I'm totally okay with that. Your phone is a tool, okay? And I'm okay if you're using it that way. Now, if you're Snapchatting through the whole class, that's different, okay? But if you're doing your work, you're adding stuff to your notes package, whatever, I'm totally fine with that, okay? Lots of people do it that way. And the really good part of this is you can never forget these in your friend's car, okay? Your dog can't eat it, okay? All of that kind of stuff. You really can't lose your notes, right? So that's why they're set up that way. Okay? Use them that way. If you have a laptop or a tablet that you want to use and bring in, I'm also totally fine with that. Okay? All right, so for right now, you're just going to need the chemistry one, okay, which is the first one. So just make sure that you're getting, sorry, I think it's the first one, okay. So you just need the chemistry one for right now. You don't need to have them all on your phone because obviously we're only in the first unit right now. Okay, there's also a periodic table here. I will give you a periodic table, but if you lose it, you'll have to use the one from here. Okay, and then this is the package you already have in front of you. Okay, so all the stuff you need is on Google Classroom. Okay, each day what I'll do is I'll post in here, okay, a recording for the day and anything else that you might need. All right, so if I assign a lab, labs are done in Google Classroom. Okay, all the stuff you'll need will be in that assignment and posted in the stream. And you'll be able to get it all from there. Questions so far? Okay. The other thing, guys, is I also, the place where I post all the recordings, okay, the place where I post all the recordings is actually on YouTube. Okay, so I don't know if you'll ever need to use this or go here, and that's fine if you don't. Okay, but the YouTube channel is CoderreScience 10 and Physics 20 podcasts. Okay, and in there will be Science 10 lessons organized by units. Okay, and you won't need the Physics 20 ones. Okay, so those playlists will actually disappear in the next couple of days as I pull all the old videos out of them and I start adding new ones. Okay, they'll be just semesters, so they'll always be current. Okay, but that's where they are. But again, you're going to access them most likely from Google Classroom, so you don't need to probably go here. You certainly don't need to subscribe or anything like that because I don't make a cent off of this. I don't have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, whatever the requirements are. Okay. All right. All right, so that kind of takes care of kind of section 2. Okay, the big thing here, guys, is that if you're gone for a while for whatever reason, okay, and you come back to me and you say, Mr. Coderre, what did I miss? You're going to see the exasperated look. I will probably sigh, and then I will go, a lot. And that's all I'll say, because you should know what you missed. You have all the ability to check it on your own. Okay? So what I expect is if you're gone for a while, you come back, and if you come up to me and say, Mr. Coderre, hey, look, I did all the podcasts, I tried the worksheet, but I don't understand this part. Can you help me with that? Yes, absolutely. You did your job, I'll do mine, okay, and I'll help you out with whatever it is you didn't get. But if you come back and go, yeah, I didn't do anything while I was gone, I'm going to go, well, you better go do all the stuff you should have done. Okay? So just make sure you're staying caught up if you miss. Okay? All right, for classroom behavior, okay, respect is the big thing. Okay, I'm always going to treat you with respect. If you have a question, okay, I'm going to answer it. Okay, I'm never going to belittle you or make fun of you or put you down in front of everybody else. Then I expect you to treat everybody else in your class the same way. Okay, I also expect respect from you. Okay, I work hard for you. I'm here to help you. Okay, and so I feel like I deserve a bit of respect for that. Okay, if you hear me say listen up, that means I need your attention. Okay, so it could be like, all right, listen up, here's what we're doing today, guys. Or listen up, we got to get across the hall to the lab to start what we're doing today. Or listen up, there's a fire over here and we need to exit now. Okay, whatever. If I say listen up, I need your attention right then and there. Okay, and if I don't get it, I will probably ask you to step outside. Right, so that I can have everybody else's attention. Right, but that's, when I say listen up, I need your attention then and there. On the subject of fires, not that there will be one, but if we have a fire drill or something like that, our primary fire exit is out through the languages wing. Okay, so we would turn left out the door, right by the stairs, and out that door, and we go out to the back parking lot. Okay? Our secondary fire exit is actually the main front doors. all right? It's actually faster for us to get out those doors than to wait for 10 other classrooms to empty down this way, okay? Our tertiary fire exit is that door down at the end of the science wing, okay? And our last resort is I throw a desk through the window. I hope I never have to do that, but that'll be the last resort, okay? All right, closest bathrooms also, okay, are just out here. So if you ask to go to the bathroom, please just go to these ones. Don't wander the whole school to go somewhere else, okay? Okay, work in class. So there's two different kinds of work in my class. There's the work that's assigned for marks, lab reports, assignments, okay, things like that. Projects, okay, those things have to be done and come in for marks. I grade them, I hand them back to you, we review them. They're a learning activity, they're an assessment, okay? The second kind of work is the work that allows you to master your skills, okay? That would be things like worksheets, okay, and things like that. So those are not going to be checked, okay? If we're working on a worksheet on naming compounds, like we will be probably tomorrow, okay, then that's not something I'm going to check for homework. It's not something I'm going to take in and mark. It's something for you to do to practice, okay? And I always post keys for the worksheets that we do in class so that you can check them and you have a way to know whether you're doing them right, okay? So those obviously aren't coming in for marks. Does that mean they're not important? No, okay? It means they are important. They're just not getting put in your marks, okay? If you don't do them, you're not going to get the practice that you might need to master the skills that they are trying to help you with. All right, so those are the two different kinds of work. I'm never going to assign you busy work so that I can, sit at my desk and go on Instagram and see what everybody's doing. I'm not going to do that. Okay, if I assign you something in class, I expect you to work on it, get it done, ask questions. Okay, be an active learner. Okay, and the stuff obviously that's coming in for marks, that's super important. If you don't do that, you're going to get a 0 on it, okay? And you don't want that because that really negatively affects your mark. So if I assign something like a lab report, okay, or an assignment or a project, okay, those have to be done and in on time, and we'll talk about that in a bit. The other thing about the work assigned in class, if you do all that stuff, you shouldn't have too much trouble in this class, okay? Science 10's, it's tough, but it's not impossible, and you shouldn't have any worry of failing, okay, if you're doing the stuff that I give you, okay? If you don't get the stuff that I give you, then you come in and you ask questions, okay, and we make sure that you do well. But so you know, there are no rewrites in Science 10, okay? If you're coming in, doing your part, there shouldn't ever be a need for that, okay? Now, if by some act of God, you do actually fail a test. And I say that act of God because it's pretty rare, okay? If that happens, then my expectation is you come in and you work on something with me to make sure that you understand the material, and at that point, I might make a slight adjustment to your grade, okay? But I'm not giving you another test. Okay? That's not All right, questions on that? Fairness versus equality. I always try to be fair to everybody. I understand that everybody's different. Everybody comes from a different place, okay? And so if I treat everybody exactly the same, I wouldn't actually be being fair to everybody. I have to take into account what everybody's got going on, okay? So I may not treat everybody equal, exactly the same, but I'm going to try to treat everybody fairly. Okay? I'll give you an example here. It happened probably about 12 or 13 years ago now. Back when we handed things in on paper, I had a whole lineup of kids because something was due that day. A bunch of people handed it in, and I had 2 people in line behind at the end. And the first kid comes up to me and he's like, "Yeah, Mr. Critter, I don't have it done. I didn't do the assignment that was due today." I'm like, not like it was a surprise. The kid never did anything on time, but whatever. Okay? He was honest with me, said, "Mr. Critter, I don't have it done." I'm like, why not? You had 2 weeks to do this thing. It would take you half an hour. Like, yeah, well, I was going to do it last night. Oh, so you're going to leave it till the last minute. Okay, fine. You were going to do it. Yeah, but the season finale of my favorite show was on, and I was watching it, and I fell asleep. I'm like, oh, it must be a good show. Fell asleep. Okay, he's like, yeah, I fell asleep, so I don't have it done. I mean, this kid, to his credit, he never did anything on time, but he was always brutally honest about why. Okay, never ever lied to me about why it wasn't done. Okay, and I'm like, well, can you get it done? I mean, you're going to lose late marks, but at least get it done. Yeah, I'll get it done. Okay, so off he went. The girl who was standing behind him, I thought she was going to fall over. She was like swaying. She was like this awful shade of green and just looked like she'd have to get better to die. Okay, like she looked terrible. And she's like, yeah, Mr. Curry, I don't have the assignment done. I'm like, are you okay? Well, no, not really. My parents had this big fight last night and they stormed out of the house, and I had to make dinner for my little brother and sister, and the chicken was frozen. I didn't cook it enough. We all threw up all night, and I didn't have my assignment done. So, being the jerk that I am, I had to point out, of course, that when you leave things till the last minute, that's when calamity will strike. Okay? And I said, well, I mean, that's kind of beyond your control. I hope everything's going to be okay. You should probably go home and get better and then finish it. And I didn't dock her late marks. I docked one guy late marks. I didn't dock the other person late marks. This person had never, ever not handed something in on time. Okay? And their circumstances were beyond their control. I thought I was fair in that situation, but I wasn't equal in that situation. So if you ever think I haven't been fair, okay, you can come up and talk to me about it after class. But I try to be fair. I try to be understanding of everybody's situations. Okay? All right, and for accountability, okay, high school is the start of real life, so due dates and timelines are part of your reality. That means you're expected and required to hand in material on time and be responsible for your actions. I give plenty of time for assignments to be completed, so there are very few excuses I accept for not handing in material on time. Okay? In real life, you have to be on time and get your work done. The same goes for you here. So, in general, you'll probably have about one thing a week due for me. Some weeks it'll be less than that, but in general, about one thing a week. Okay? I never ask for something the next day. Okay? I'm never going to assign something in class this morning and say, have this 3-hour thing done for tomorrow. Okay? That is brutally unfair. Okay? And it doesn't help you to develop time management or anything like that. The quickest turnaround I will ever give you is 2 school days. So if I were to assign something today, the earliest it would be due would be Thursday. Okay? Everybody with me there? That'd be the quickest turnaround. Most of the time it's more than that and usually includes a weekend. Okay? So there's really no reason to not have something done on time. I want you to develop time management skills. I want you to be able to look at your schedule and go, okay, Mr. Codere says this will take me about a half an hour or 45 minutes. Where do I have that in my schedule? Okay, I'll fit it in here and I'll get it done. Okay? But I'm never going to have an unreasonable timeline for you to complete something. Okay? All right, questions there? Okay, so assessment and evaluation. So the first thing is that I won't discuss your mark with you in class in front of everybody else. Okay, so if you don't like the mark you got, keep it to yourself until you can come and talk to me when it's just the two of us. All right, because I've had very awkward situations where somebody comes up to my desk and challenges their mark in front of 30 other people. Okay, just so you know, you will always lose in that situation. Okay, you'll say, Mr. Codere, this mark sucks, and I'll say, yes it does. Sit down, shut up. Okay, I probably won't say shut up, but okay, I'll tell you to sit down. Okay, and that'll be the end of it. Okay, but if you come up to me after class and say, Mr. Codere, like I know you went through the lab with us, and I know you said that this is what you were looking for, and I kind of thought I said that in this question. Can you explain to me why I didn't get the marks? Absolutely. Okay, no problem. And if it's an addition error, yeah, come up and say, Mr. Codere, you can't add it. Okay, and now I'll fix it. That does happen sometimes. All right, but just do it after class, okay, and everything will work out a lot better. Okay, your marks will be distributed according to the syllabus. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, assignments and labs are to be handed in on time. Okay, late assignments can be handed in, but will be penalized 30%. That is immediate. Okay, I don't have different degrees of late. Okay, late and on time are like alive and dead. You are one or the other. Okay, and so I don't have different degrees of late. It's not 30% a day. Okay, that requires me to keep track of how many days late it is, and then eventually it isn't worth anything. And I don't believe that at any point something's worth nothing. Okay? It is penalized right away, and here's why. First thing I already told you, I give you plenty of time to get stuff done. Second thing, I will always hand back your assignments the next day or earlier. Okay? In 23 years of teaching, I have failed to get back an assignment the next day once. And that's because my second son was being born, and I chose to hold my wife's hand while she squeezed out a kid as opposed to mark labs. I stand by that decision. It was the right decision. Okay? That's the only time. And I had them back the day after. Okay? So, you're always going to get your assignments back from me right away. Okay? Most of the time I plan so that I can mark right away. Okay? So you'll get them back the next day from me all the time. All right. All assignments and labs are due 8:30 a.m. on the due date. Okay? So if I assign something and it's due on Thursday, it's 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. Okay? It's not the end of the school day. It's not when class starts. It's 8:30 a.m. Okay? Make sure you're ready for the start of the school day. Okay? Questions there? So, the course syllabus. In Science 10, there are 4 units. Okay? First unit, Alberta Learning calls Unit 1, Energy and Matter and Chemical Change. We call it chemistry. Okay? So, in the chemistry unit, we'll talk about the structure of the atom, which will be mostly review for you. We'll talk about naming chemical compounds. Some of that will be review for you. Some of it will be new. We'll look at chemical change, physical properties, chemical reactions, writing, balancing, predicting chemical reactions, and at the end of the unit, the mole equation, which helps us to calculate the amount of material that could be in a reaction. Okay, that's the unit. It tends to be kind of one of the tougher ones because there's a bit of math in it, okay, especially at the end. And we will probably finish that, I would say, middle of March. Okay, so around the middle of March we'll be done that one because we have a week off here in February. Okay, so that's the second week of March somewhere. Okay. Second unit is biology. Okay, we talk about cells, cell theory, parts of the cell, what they do, how cells transport material. Then we move to multicellular organisms and we look at how cells work in a multicellular organism, transport in a multicellular organism, growth and development, okay, and things like that. So that unit tends to be a bit shorter. We'd probably finished that one, let's say, beginning of April, second week April, okay, depending on where Easter falls. Third unit is physics. Okay? The physics unit is going to be the most math-intensive unit. Okay? There's a lot of algebra in there. There's graphing. Okay? There's acceleration, constant velocity, energy, types of energy, work energy theorem. Okay? It's really fun stuff. And I don't just say that because I'm a physics guy. It's stuff that makes the world go around. Okay? So we'll be looking at that. That unit will be about, so we get to that middle of April. We'll be done it late May. Okay? And then the last unit is global systems, and it's kind of a hodgepodge. It's really short. This past semester I taught it in 4 days because I had to. I lost a week here in January. 4 days. Okay, that's my record. Shortest ever. Okay. Hopefully we don't have to teach it in 4 days. Usually it takes 2 weeks or so. Okay, so that'll be the last unit, and we'll finish that right up before final exams. Okay, your marks distribution. Okay, your unit exams are 40% of your final mark, so that's 10% apiece. Okay. Your coursework, that's your labs, your projects, your assignments, etc., all the things you're going to hand in to me for marking, are 30% of your final mark. Quizzes are 10%. I forgot to talk about those. Every Tuesday and every Thursday, you will have a quiz. It's short. They're like 5 to 10 minutes. And they're just on the last few days of material. Okay? They're mostly a review tool. Okay? As I said, you're having 2 a week for the entire semester and they only add up to 10% of your mark. Do the math. Each quiz is worth like a fraction of a percent of your final grade. Okay? That's not to say that they're not important. They are a review tool. What I do every Monday and every Wednesday right after school is I post a practice quiz, which sometimes actually ends up being the real quiz. Sometimes. Okay? So I basically post, here's some things to work on in preparation for tomorrow's quiz, / this might be tomorrow's quiz. Okay? Go home, take 5-10 minutes, figure them out. You come in the next day, you write the quiz, you do well. Okay? It's just a way to review. Like I say, I don't do homework checks. Okay? This is kind of the homework check. Okay? If you do those practice quizzes, you're not going to have any problem with the real quizzes. Okay? And then your final exam, 20% of your final grade, okay, written there at the end of June. All right. Questions from you guys on any of that? Okay. The other usual first day stuff. What do you need for this class? You got to have the notes packages, okay, in whatever form you're going to find them most useful. Okay? Pencils and pens, some paper. Okay? You're going to need a scientific calculator. It doesn't have to be a graphing calculator. You don't have to go out and spend $150 on one of those. You can go to go to any place and get like a $8 scientific calculator, and that'll work just fine. Okay? And that's really about it. Okay? I'm going to give you a periodic table, and that'll be about all you need. Okay? Can you have food and drink in here? Yes, you can. Absolutely. Okay? Just if you make a mess, you clean it up. Okay? Can we listen to music in your class? Sometimes. Okay? If we're working on a worksheet or something like that, and I'm not actively teaching, by all means, you can have your headphones in and listen to music. Okay? That would be fine. Can you have phones in your class? Obviously, we've already talked about that. Yes, you can. Okay, you're probably going to be using it a fair amount, and I'm okay with that. Okay? If it's out on your desk and it's got your notes open and you're editing a document, I'm totally okay with that. Okay? And guys, like I said, editing the documents, okay? So if you have your notes package open, I think that's the biology one, but whatever. Okay, so you just open up your document. Like I say, it'll have your name here instead of student Coder. It'll have your name. Okay, edit this thing all you want. Okay, just type in. Okay, because lots of times I'll say, can you add this to your notes if it's something we're just doing? And, oh, that should really be in there. Or here's a little detail that's not in there. Add it. Okay, type it in, or if you're pen and paper, write it on there. Okay, but you can edit this at any point, even on your phone, as long as you have Google Docs. Okay, so that's the intention of that. Okay, that's how I intend for you to use it. Okay, we talked about the fire exits, right? Yeah. All right, questions from you guys? Anything I didn't cover? Okay, sorry, other thing, help times. So this is going to change slightly because now I am now supervising at lunch on Mondays. So okay, so those are my help times. Okay, I have Monday, like basically any day except Tuesday before school, from about 5 after 8 onwards. Okay, I'll be here. If you want some help, you can pop in. Okay, the only reason I don't have it on Tuesdays is that's when our staff meeting is Tuesday morning, so I can't help you Tuesday mornings. Okay, I'll help you at lunch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's no problem either. I'm here. I don't have a life, so I just hang out in here. Okay, you can come and see me at lunch if you have questions, need help on something. Okay, and after school each day, from 3:20 till about 4:15. Okay, I'll be in here as well. If you need some help, you can pop in then. Okay, here to help, here to listen. Okay, if you need something, come and see me. Okay, if you are at home and you need help and you email me, you may not get a response. Okay, I don't always check my work email when I'm at home. Okay, sometimes when I'm at home, I need to be a dad and a husband and not a teacher. So if you're emailing me at home, you may or may not get a response. Okay, I can't promise you'll always hear from me because I don't always check it when I'm at home. Okay, because I used to check it. I used to have it on my phone and it would buzz at like 2:30 in the morning because somebody was working on their lab and thought, oh, just email Mr. Coder this question right now. He's not asleep. Yeah, so I stopped doing that. Okay, so just so you know, if you email me and it's after school hours, you must not get a response. Okay, you might, but you might not. So I wouldn't count on it. All right. Any other questions there? Okay. We are going to go into then the first lesson. So I'm going to give you about a 5-minute break here. Okay, break within the class. Okay, we don't leave the classroom, but I'll give you about a 5-minute break here while I get the lesson set up, and then we'll get into that. Okay.